Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to be showing you the Skull Sorcerer's Dungeons, a Season 13 LEGO Ninjago set, keeping in mind that in many parts of the world, Season 13 has not yet begun, and in the region where I live, we're presently seeing Season 12, the season before all this, on TV right now. So I'm going to do my best to make this a spoiler-free review and ask that people using the comments also be respectful to folks in regions where this season hasn't yet come out. Not everybody likes to be spoiled. Some like to actually enjoy the thing as it's presented. This is a pretty serious, sizable, substantive playset, which includes 8 minifigures. It also has one of these specialized Spinjitzu spinner pieces that doubles as a die, singular form of dice, for the gameplay experience. I'll try to cover that gameplay in a separate video once I have all the sets built that connect together with this system, but the basic idea is that you roll the die and then you move a figure the number of places that show up on it. You can also get additional health, and you can also lose health along the way, and you can choose your path. So in this case, for instance, you can go around to the right-hand side. That is actually a little health piece that you can pick up along the way, or you can go ahead and continue with a frontal assault, go right down the middle out to this gate and then go through there. The skull face doesn't do anything except look menacing, and it's an interesting build. It went together actually fairly quickly, but it looks pretty proper and it looks advanced. You know, it's not particularly toyish. I like the design work that went into this. And again, it's just not that many pieces actually required for the most obvious and interesting looking thing on the set. There are a lot of small, frankly unnecessary, but very welcome details around this, like the fish being roasted over an open flame there. On the other side, this little portion of the walkway is kind of angled off to a side. It uses a couple of Mixel's ball joints to put it at a, just in an interesting location. You know, that could have been done straight, or they could have just kept with regular normal brick building around the corner, but they didn't. They've got this little banister made with an old flintlock musket there. You know, just again, for a little bit of extra detail, you can pick up some additional weapons back there of your choice. This alternate side path goes over lava, and it has a bone-built bridge in the middle of it. It's obviously really, really scaled down. You can imagine that being something that could accommodate like 2 or 3 people side by side on it, but I like the shaping, and it does look unique, and that connects to the original starting point back here. Here's the other side path with a danger sign and another health heart you can pick up, a narrow bridge to cross over, and when you get to this part, there's just a little bit of studs on the side construction, again, to break up the details and keep it from being visually boring. There's also a spot where you can choose to go down the side of this like a small cliff, and that's an opportunity to get another health heart. Continuing on our way up, there's another crossing to a different platform, and this has some mechanism built into it. You can actually rotate this spire here, this tower. I'll show you all the mechanisms that actuates. You can see a couple of them here, just a suggestion of them, with these blades that can rotate around and knock you off of this crossing, but there's a lot more to see, so I'll cover all that. Together, there's another health heart you can pick up along the way. Climb up here. Each of those ladder steps counts as a step in the game play process. And then finally, you get to the very top, and there's a bone enclosure here. Just a little bit of detail up above, kind of shrine style. But all of this opens with the use of just a single lever here that's not connected to everything else. You just open that by pushing it back, and that gives you access to the Shadow Blade of Deliverance. Okay, mechanism time. So when I turn this, there are gears throughout all of this, and you can see that these 2 blades start to spin around. There's a little bit of hesitation in there, a little bit of extra friction. It's because so many gears are being turned around the entire thing, and it does have a limit to how far it can go in one direction before you have to reverse. All the way back here at the main entrance pathway, if I just continue to rotate that same thing that was rotating the blades, well, it's also doing this. It's raising these small platforms up and down. Now you can see those as sinking down into the lava where you'll immediately take damage, or it could just be a cool thing to look at, you know, to watch these going up and down kind of earthquake style. But sometimes one of these will get stuck just a little bit, but generally the mechanism works pretty well, especially considering just how far you have to move the motion through all the gear train and everything to get to this point. Also off to the side, you've got this elevated jail cell, and that's connected to a winch, which is in turn connected to the same mechanism. So as I rotate that in one direction, it's going to fall down. And if I let it go all the way down to the ground and continue to rotate in the same direction, you see it lets off a little bit and then it starts to just wind it right back up. So that can be something that can alternate, where when it's down, if you have a person there, they can rescue them, or maybe the person can get out. If you have a lucky spin at that point, you can kind of choose how you want that to play into the gameplay, or again, you can just use this as a mechanism without using the dice or anything. Like, this is just how you bring the person down. Before I leave this area again, I also want to show you how the entrance actually works, because that's pretty nice how they put the flame pieces inside of the bricks to give it a little extra texture. But that opens by moving the flowing lava out of the way by simply putting a figure right here and then push this right in. Around the back, you can see some of the gears. So there are 3 here, 2 over here. There's also 1 down there that's pretty visible. So as you move this, you can just enjoy a little bit of extra detail from, stuff actually happening around there. You can just imagine it's exposed, almost steampunk style or diesel punk style of mechanisms. The upper floor looks like it's part of the personal quarters of the Skull Sorcerer, and just some of the objects that are in here kind of suggest that he may have somewhat of a soft center to him. I would say, like, he's not 100% completely evil. Maybe he wants to be nice and just have fun, but he has to keep up appearances. Look at that portrait on the wall. He's smiling there, eyebrows raised, and looks comfortable and everything. Look at his magic wand in the container back there. It's trans pink and it has a star on it. It just doesn't seem like the main layer of a truly evil to the core dude. I'm just saying, just based on the objects that are here. I like the combination of colors with the teal cheese slope on top of the trans light blue brick over there. I think it's a color combination I personally haven't seen before. He's got some old armor, so maybe he used to be a warrior, or maybe he wants to be a warrior, or maybe as a kid he wanted to be a warrior. I'm not sure. And then I'm going to say this is his loot. Now, you could say that it's just for one of his servants, to come in and play to entertain him. But I'm going to say this is his. And one of the things he wanted to be when he grew up was a musician. So again, I think a lot of these pieces of evidence here suggest something that's not completely black or white. There may be a little bit of both in him. And this is just his balcony. That's really cute. He's got a little balcony with a railing where he can look at his captor in this terrible cage that's hanging over lava. I don't know. He definitely has multiple sides to him, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Just a couple other little things that you can see around the back here. While you're climbing up the side path, you can choose to go over here, and then it's one spot to move from the path to one of these ledge footholds, then one spot to another. And if you are willing to take that chance, to take all that time to go down there, then you can pick up this double-sided axe, this big battle axe. So I'm assuming that either at this final step or one step after it, you would swing around here and pick that up. I don't know how weapon power factors into the gameplay, or if you have to kind of fill that in yourself, if that gives you double damage, or I'm just not sure. Overall, there are just so many details, so many more details in this than there need to be. If you look just a few decades back through Lego's history, if they did something like this, it would have been so simple. The paths would have been at 45-degree angles at most, if not just completely rectangular, and most of these little details would not have been included. It would have been built with just, regular bricks for the most part, which would have done the trick. Everything would have worked just fine. I think you would be able to do most of the gameplay stuff that you can do here, most of the imaginative play, whether you use the game system or not, with a much simpler structure. But this just shows how far Lego has come towards making everything extra detailed. And they definitely clearly prioritize this theme, the Ninjago theme, for extra care in that way. And I think it really shows here. And this was kind of an advanced build. Like, there were a lot of little pieces used in this, and I appreciate that. With the minifigures, a couple of them get these stands that have the health hearts on them, so as you take damage along the way, you can either bend these down or take them off entirely, and as you go along, you can also pick up new ones and add them to your total tally there. Each of these stands has a container to hold on to extra weapons. If you have any, if you've collected any, you want to swap out ones. This one here didn't have an extra, but you saw there's a bow right here. Let's look more closely at the figures themselves. Here's Hero Cole with his mace and his golden shield. There's a lot of metallic printing on the torso, also in the hip and leg pieces. I'll have to take some stuff off to let you see this a little bit better. The headgear is dual molded, and there are two faces to be seen. There's also back printing on the torso. There's everything minimized down, so you can just see those prints in particular. And there's the alternate. Hero Zane gets very clear printing. I think the print on the hip piece could have been done a little bit better. Again, gold is his accent color. He uses the exact same print for the shield in this case. And each of these has a clip on the back to hold on to a weapon or a spare. Zane is the one ninja who does not get an alternate face because he has the connection port print on the back there, which is as detailed as it's ever been. And there's what it looks like from the front with some stuff removed. Lloyd gets the silver accent color, and he has no stand to go with him, so he's left out in this set. It is very awkward to me when they include 3 ninja and only 2 stands to go with them, especially in this set where they actually have 3 starting positions, so it totally would make sense to have the full team, as included in this set, to be, active on the course at the same time. So you have to improvise a little bit there. And there's one of his faces and the other one, as well as the rest of the print on the back of that torso. These 2 colorful orc-like things are Mert on the left and Ginkle on the right. Those are their proper names. Again, no spoilers here. I want to respect people who, just want to watch the show when it actually comes out, wherever they are. If you've already seen the show, then you know the story. And there's no need to repeat it here. I think both of these are good-looking characters, pretty well detailed. And Ginkle has an alternate face. Mert does not. Here's the Skull Sorcerer himself with one of his awakened warriors, the black skeleton there. He also has his magic skull, which unfortunately does not glow in the dark. Kind of looks like it glows during the day, but doesn't have any glow-in-the-dark material in it. Very nice printing for this one. Pretty good paint applications for the Awakened Warrior as well, with 2 colors to make it look like it's glowing a bit. And there is just a little bit more to be seen by taking some stuff off. Very nice print on the back of that torso. Good detailing, a nice pattern as well. And there's a face, but it doesn't match what we saw on the portrait up in his room. Finally, here's Vanya, one of the more unique-looking, fully human-like figures I think that LEGO has ever done. She really, really stands out. Really looks very collectible to me. Reminds me a little bit of Pixel and just how much she stands out, how special this is as a figure to collect, especially within the Ninjago series. Her hair is gold. It is completely molded pearl gold. It's a slightly rubbery piece, so it's not completely shiny. Makes it even more unique. The prints are very, very fine, very crisp with small details. And also there's some metallic printing in there and around the back, taking the hair off. She has an alternate face and more nice printing around the back of that torso. Finally, there are a ton of small extra parts because there were 10 bags in the set, 10 main bags, and then each of those had 1 or 2 small bags within it, and then each of those small bags had some spare parts to go with it because they included a lot of little things. And then this is the spent sticker sheet. You can see that most of the stickers for this were just the little indicators to go with the steps along the gameplay path. The set retails for $100 US for over 1,100 pieces. Now, it does include some fairly large parts, but it also has a bunch of little pieces, so I would expect this to target around the 10 to 11 cent price to part ratio. And the fact that it's below that makes me feel like this is a pretty good value. Like, just looking at this and considering how much stuff is actually here with the 8 figures and the amount of detail, whether you get into the gameplay aspect of it or not, if you really want to play with this a lot, there's plenty that you can do. Like, forget about the, rolling the die or whatever. Forget about rules. Just play with it. There's plenty of stuff to do here to just play. It's a perfectly good play set. Plenty of spaces to put figures, the most important thing of all. Spaces to put figures, to go around and do things. You can connect them in different places. It really considers the needs of figures to be connected to spots. They have handholds where you can hold on with their little clippy hands. They've got vertical as well as horizontal studs where you can attach the feet in different ways. So that's all good. Plenty of accessories to use with those figures. The action features are nicely integrated in. They don't stand out like sore thumbs. It's not like they were designing this for really, 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 really young kids. And as a result, the display value of it is good, right? I mean, even just looking at this right here, that's nice. But then the rest is also good. Around the back, it's open. That's fine. It's flat. It can go right up against a wall. It'll fit onto some shelves, not all shelves. It is a little bit deep. But yeah, there's a lot of good stuff here, in my opinion, in how this was designed for a lot of different people. Plus, myself having seen this season of Ninjago already, I feel like it was one of the stronger seasons, one of the stronger stories with some of the better useful action and arcs that I've seen in the entire series to date. And I mean that. It was good stuff, surprisingly so. It was not nearly as basically cliche as I expected it to be. And interestingly, some of the things that LEGO has presented with their sets, with their box art, is misleading, or can be seen as misleading, can also be seen as just suggesting to kids that they don't have to follow exactly what happens in the canonical story. Because as far as I'm concerned, as far as I know, a lot of kids don't follow every single thing that goes in with the story when it comes to play. Like, you're not going to just replay the official episodes of the series with the figures and with the sets, or at least I think you shouldn't. You should do more than that. And I'm pretty sure that from what I've seen, from what I've heard, most kids do. So that's cool. Ultimately, a toy set like this just gives you tools to do whatever you want. If you want to do stuff canonical, that's fine. If you want to expand your world, you want to expand LEGO's world, that's great. If you want to forget about this being Ninjago and just look at it as more of a kind of, high fantasy, medieval, whatever, thing, it works for that as well. Maybe the ninja themselves are a little bit specific in their look, but the rest of the stuff isn't. So yeah, there are just so many possibilities here. So much good stuff. I like this sub-theme for this year or for this season, and I like this set in particular, and I think the value is pretty good. I've got the builds up, so if you want to see the real-time build, just throw it on in the background. If you want to see the speed build, those are both available. Check the links in the video description or in the end screen, and I'll talk to you again soon. Thanks for watching.